This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. One of the games I couldn't wait to get my hands on and I talked about at Fever was Archmage. Tim is going to go down here and tell us all about Archmage. Tim, thanks a lot.
All right.
I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Let's go down the board and take a look.
Sounds good.
All right, Tim, tell me all about Archmage.
So Archmage is a game set in a fantasy land, as I'm sure you can guess.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to start with magic lost from the land. So you're going to start with no magic. And the board up here is going to start in its ruined state. All the tiles we set up in a modular fashion, so the map is different every game. It scales according to the number of players in terms of its size, and you're going to explore that map as you play.
This looks glorious.
But the hook of the game is the magic system, so I'm going to spend the bulk of the time talking about that.
Okay.
The magic system is divided into 6 interlocking spheres of magic. Each which has a very unique flavor and purpose in the game. Each has a unique relic that will fuel it, like its mana source. And on the map, you'll find a mythic race that will teach you the scraps of magic left in the realm after the apocalyptic ending. So, I'm going to travel with my mage at some point up to visit these mythic races around the Cursed Tower. Let's say, for example, I start with visiting the gnomes.
Okay.
The gnomes are the masters of matter magic. When I come back to my board, for every 2 widgets I bring them, so 1, 2, 3, they will train an apprentice for me in the fundamentals of that sphere of magic. Yep, he's eager, he'll get to go. So the board is divided into 6 fundamental spell areas, 6 advanced spell areas, and 6 master spell areas. So when I get trained, I'm going to look through my 18 card deck and pull out the card that's got a fundamental symbol in the top left and the matter magic symbol in the top right, and I'm going to add that to my tableau, my spell book, as a spell I know. So if I fast forward a little bit, I'm going to visit the dryads, and they're going to teach me some fundamental nature magic. I'm going to visit the elves, and they're going to teach me some fundamental time magic. But I'm a human mage. I'm not content to play around with the scraps of magic left from a previous age. At some point, I'm going to return to my tower on the board, and I'm going to start to weave these different spheres of magic together. So I'm going to force 2 of my little apprentices into a duel. One's going to get a promotion, and the adjacent guy who's dueling him gets kicked back to my company for further training. And I'll pull out the advanced yellow purple spell and add that to my tableau of player powers. So similarly, I can do yellow green, duel those 2 little guys, and add a yellow green spell to my tableau. The trick being, though, if I ever abandon a spell area, I no longer have a guy standing on this fundamental green area. I'm going to have to pull that fundamental green spell back as magic fades from memory back to my deck. So you're going to have this tension or choices to make as you manipulate this system to go all the way up to the most powerful spell I could get, the master yellow spell, Automaton, at the expense of diversity, because I'm going to have to give up those 2 because I no longer have guys standing there on the board.
Oh.
So the position of your apprentices on the tower board should always match the content of your spell book as you're playing.
That's fantastic.
So just quickly on the turn order, last 10% of the demo. 3 phases in your turn. You have a preparation phase where you make sure your spell book is up to date versus your tower board, and you move one of these little planets in towards alignment. Mm-hmm. Whatever planet you pick, you'll get 1 relic of that color. So it's a slow, steady trickle of relics that's under your direct control. And then you progress to your journey phase. In your journey phase, you got 5 movement points to spend. You can use them for movement, for exploration, to claim new tiles for your order. Claim, that's now mine. Or to attack. I simply move in, spend a movement point to kill him. He doesn't go back to the company of the opposing mage. He's going into the supply, also known as the bag of death. And both I will get a blood, and my opponent will get a blood. So blood is an asymmetric resource. You can't find it on the map. It's only through direct combat. It's actually the catch-up mechanic in the game. Because if we all start beating on the same player, they're going to charge up their blood meter, and blood is the offensive spells in the game to allow you to push back. So if one guy's really getting beat down, you're giving him the fuel he needs to push his way back into the game. Finally, where did your mage end up after the 5 movement points? Did they end up on one of the mythic races, in which case you'll trade with the race? Did he end in his tower, in which case you're going to do the promotions I showed you? Did he go to a camp? Is he going to preach on the street corners and recruit new guys to join his order? Or is he going to come to a town? A town is the main way to get relics in the game. You're going to look at everything you currently own, and every little worker is going to send you something. So these 2 little workers will each send you a yellow relic. These 2 will send you a purple, a black, a green, and you get a large infusion of relics all at once. You go out, kick some ass for a while again, and then come back to another town, gather up, or come back to your tower and refuel. So, game end, when all the planets align in the sky, all these will line up nicely in the center of your player board. We're going to do game end scoring. So you're going to score for your magical knowledge, 1 point for each fundamental spell you know, 2 points for each advanced, 4 points for each master level. And then we're going to score for area majorities on the map in each of the 5 colors. Who's got the most yellow ruins, they'll get 2 points. Who's got the most purple libraries, they'll get 2 points, etc. So scores tend to run about 15 to 25 points. It's a very tight scoring game. Every point is kind of fought for. Plays with 1 to 4 players. About 30 minutes per player once you know what you're doing. Your first games definitely could be longer, 40, 45 minutes per player, so we don't always advise you start with 4 players right off the bat. But once you know what you're doing, it definitely sings at 3 to 4 players, and there's lots of good magical combat and relic manipulation, tableau building, all in a yummy Euro package.
Perfect. All right, let's send it up top for my final thoughts.
That was amazing.
That was absolutely amazing. The components are off the chart. You are off the chart, my friend. Thank you so much for taking the time.
A sincere
Man,
pleasure.
this is a great game. Get here, Gen Con, get your hands on it. If it's at a local store, get your hands on it. If Lance talks about it, get your hands on it. You're going to love it, that's for sure. Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate it. Until next time, it's your old pal Ram. We'll see you soon.